So we have seen such basic concepts, that all concepts are included in our handwritten notes also. That notes will also be shared with you. Now after that, resolution of forces. When number of forces acting on a rigid body, then these forces can be replaced by a single force which has the same effect on the rigid body. That is known as the resultant of that force, and this resultant can be resolved into its x component and in y component. Okay, so that thing we called it as a resolution of that force. Now whether it is a single force or whether it is a resultant, doesn't matter. Resultant is also a force. It may be a virtual force, but it is a force, and that resultant can also be resolved into the two components, x component, y component. That is r cos theta and r sin theta. Okay, and when you do the resultant of the resultant, then r is equal to underscore of means under root r square cos square theta plus r square sin square theta. So r square we will get it to common, sin square theta plus cos square theta will be 1, and therefore r is equal to under root of r square, which is again equal to r equal to r, right? So in this way the resolution of a single force can be taken. Okay, and resolution of n number of force, when we go to the n number of forces, then every component, x component of that system of forces, can be equal to the Rx, that is the x component of that resultant. That also we have seen in our previous lectures. Okay, now the composition of force, the same thing is given in reverse fashion. The process of finding out the resultant force of a given system of forces means, suppose that if you have been given two forces, force P and force Q, and for that force P and Q you want to find the resultant, then you can have this resultant by using the composition of force. Composition means integration. Integration means combining together. So you are going to combine the force P and force Q together to get the force R, which is equal to its resultant. Okay, but you have to apply certain norms, you have to apply certain formulas, such as here force Q is horizontal, so therefore Q cos of 0 and cos of 0 will be equal to 1. Okay, then again you have to split the force P, that is P cos theta and P sin theta. Okay, and after that you will get the value of your resultant, because the inclination is there, and as the inclination theta is there for this force P, therefore you have to resolve the force P in order to find its resultant R, right? So therefore what we are trying to tell you, that when n number of forces are there, system of forces are there, then in that case you have to resolve that each individual force into the x component and y component to find the whole system of whole resultant of that force system, right? So this is the concept behind the resultant. To find the resultant, you must have to resolve all the forces in the system into its x component and y component, that is P cos theta, P sin theta, Q cos theta, Q sin theta. In this case here theta for Q is 0, so therefore Q cos of theta means q cos of 0 will be cos 0 will be 1. So therefore q cos theta will be q and q sin theta will not be there. Okay, so therefore here in this case the two forces can be resolved, and that same thing can be interpreted with the law of parallelogram, law of triangle, and law of polygon, as well as the sine rule. So that four things we are going to learn it today. Now we have also learned about the sign conventions, that is first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. Okay, so we have seen this, how you resolve this force F cos theta, F sin theta, if it is in first quadrant. Okay, if it is in third quadrant, then the direction will continue, it will go towards the third quadrant, and horizontal component will be minus F cos theta, vertical component will be downside, that's why minus F sin theta. Okay, so quadrant by quadrant it differs. Okay, now already told you that what is the summation of fx, that is the means the x component of all forces, and the summation has to be taken. Now y component of all the forces and summation has to be taken, that will be equal to summation of fy. Okay, and your r will be equal to, we have seen here, r will be equal to summation under root of summation of fx square plus summation of fy square. This is the formula for your resultant that you need to use to find the resultant. Okay, now after that the same formula is given here, as well as the direction of that resultant is also important. Resultant r is equal to under root of summation of fx square plus summation of fy square. Now how you will find the direction of that resultant? Alpha equal to tan inverse of summation of fy by summation of fx. Now this is your angle alpha. Okay, you know that tan of any angle equal to opposite upon adjacent. So tan of this alpha will be equal to opposite. So opposite will be this fy. Okay, this fy can be taken here. Okay, this same fy can be drawn here also. You can see this will also be fy. Okay, so this fy and this fy will be similar. These two fy will be similar. Okay, so therefore this summation of fy can be drawn here also, and here this angle alpha opposite to the alpha you are having then summation of fy, opposite to alpha you are having the summation of fy, and divided by summation of fx, which is horizontal. You can see here summation of fx is horizontal, summation of fy is vertical. So therefore tan of alpha will be equal to opposite upon adjacent, and therefore summation of fy divided by summation of fx, you will get this. Okay, now after that alpha depends on the signs of fx and fy. This is also important. Why this is important? Because for this reason, if your fx and fy both are positive, then your resultant will lie in first quadrant. If your fx is negative and fy is positive, then the resultant will lie in this quadrant, that is second quadrant. If summation of fx and summation of fy both are negative, then your resultant will lie in third quadrant. Okay, and if fx is positive and fy is negative, then it will lie in fourth quadrant. Okay, so it is clear. So that's why here it has been said that alpha depends on the signs of fx and fy, right? So alpha depends on means in which quadrant the alpha should lie, in which quadrant the alpha should exist. This thing is dependent on the your sign of summation of fx and sign of summation of fy. Okay, Now, after that, one of the most important part for this engineering mechanics that we are going to study now, that laws of the forces. Basically, there are three laws in our syllabus. That is the law of parallelogram, law of triangle, and law of polygon. Now, all these three laws are for the forces. Okay. So, law of parallelogram of the forces, triangle laws of the forces, and polygon laws of the forces. Okay. So, these are the three laws. Fourth law is also there, that is the sine rule. That is also for your what you can say forces, that also we are going to learn. Okay. So our first law is law of parallelogram. What is the parallelogram? Do you know it? What is the parallelogram? You can simply draw it here. So this is a parallelogram. Right? This is itself a parallelogram. You can see it. Okay. So the two opposite sides are same and the angles are not at the right angle. So this is a parallelogram. Okay. You can see this type of parallelogram. Okay. Now after that, this is a parallelogram. You can see here it has been drawn. Okay. Now if suppose that the two sides of your parallelogram are by the two forces P and Q. Okay, it has been represented here. The horizontal force is force P. The inclined force is force Q. Then their resultant, which is making an angle alpha with the horizontal, which is equal to P, can be obtained with the formula R is equal to under root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos of theta. Now what is this theta? Theta will be the angle made by Q with P. This angle will be your theta. This angle will be your theta. Okay, so you got it. Horizontal force is force P, inclined force is force Q, which are the two sides of the parallelogram. Okay, the another two sides has not been drawn here yet, but you can assume it here. This is one side you can assume, and this is another side of parallelogram that you can assume. Now here your parallelogram gets completed. Okay, and this is your resultant R, which is intersecting between the two intersection of points. That line will be the resultant. Okay, horizontal force will be P, inclined force will be Q, and in between them there will be a resultant. And the formula for that resultant will be under root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos of theta. This will be the formula, and that we have to prove now, that how this expression has came, from which derivation this expression has came, that we need to obtain, that we need to prove this formula, this expression. Okay, so let's move further. Now we can have this derivation here. Okay, so step by step you try to understand it, that how this derivation is there. The same diagram is here, that force P, force Q, force R, which is the resultant, making an angle of alpha with the P, and here your force Q making an angle of theta with the force P, which is equal to horizontal. Now from the geometry of this figure, the three angles can be obtained, right? If you consider the triangle OAC, which is not the right angle triangle, but angle ODC will be the right angle triangle. You can see it. You can see this is the right angle. your angle angle ODC will be the right angle triangle, but angle OAC is not the right angle triangle. Okay. Now from this geometry of figure, you can notice that your angle CAD, which will be equal to theta. Here you can see it. Angle made by Q with the P is also the theta, and angle made by the CA with the AD is also the theta. Because as this is a parallelogram, these two opposite sides are always equal. That's why we call it as a parallelogram. Okay. So the side your OQ, this side OQ will be equal to side AC. Okay. And your side OA will be equal to the side BC, which is equal to P, right? So the horizontal forces are force P and inclined forces are the force Q in simple language. Horizontal forces are force P and inclined forces are force Q. Here it has been shown. Okay, so that's why the opposite two sides will be equal to each other. This Q will be equal to this Q and this P will be equal to this P. Okay, opposite sides will be equal and in between them there will be a resultant. Okay, now simply you have to apply the Pythagoras theorem here. For this triangle, OC is the, what you can say, your hypotenuse for this triangle. Now OC square will be equal to under root of OD square plus CD square. You can see here, you can zoom it out, you can zoom in so that you can see it clearly. You are applying the Pythagoras theorem for the triangle ODC, which is equal to right angle triangle. Okay, now here OD will be equal to the summation of or addition of OA plus AD. Okay, this complete side will be the addition of OA plus AD. So it has been written here. So OA will be equal to P, but AD will be equal to, now remember this thing here, this thing is most important. This AD will be equal to what? This AD will be equal to Q cos of theta. And this vertical side will be equal to Q sine of theta. Now you are applying here, you are resolving this force Q here. So therefore this horizontal will be the Q cos theta and vertical will be the Q sine theta. Remember this thing, Q cos theta and Q sine theta, and that two expressions you are using it here. Okay, so for this horizontal distance you are using the Q cos theta and this vertical distance you are using the Q sine theta, and you are putting this in this equation. After that you will get this P square plus Q square cos square theta whole bracket square. You will get it Q square cos square of theta, right? Because the bracket gets implicated here. If you remove the bracket, Q cos of theta bracket square, then it will become Q square cos square theta plus 2PQ cos of theta, right? Because P plus Q bracket square, you will have the P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. So similarly, you will get it here. And CD square, CD will be nothing but the Q sine of theta. So therefore, Q square sine square of theta. Now Q square can be taken common and cos square theta plus sine square theta will be equal to 1. And that's why at the end, we will get it P square plus Q square, this common taken, we have taken it common, plus 2PQ cos of theta. Now, if we under root LHS and RHS, we will get R is equal to under root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos of theta. So, this thing we will get at final, and tan of alpha will be equal to opposite upon adjacent. You know CD divided by OD. This CD will be equal to Q sin theta and OD will be equal to P plus Q cos theta. This thing, right? This OD will be equal to P plus Q cos theta whole side. Okay. So therefore, tan of alpha will be equal to CD by OD, which is equal to Q sin theta divided by P plus Q cos theta. And if you take only alpha, then alpha will be equal to tan inverse of Q sin theta divided by P plus Q cos theta. So these are the two expressions for the law of parallelogram. One is for the resultant and second one is for the angle made by resultant with the horizontal x-axis. This alpha, you remember this angle alpha and theta both are different. Angle alpha is angle made by resultant with force P, which is equal to horizontal, which is equal to overlapping on the x-axis. Your force P is overlapping on the x-axis. Remember this thing. So therefore, angle alpha is different and angle theta is different. Angle theta is the angle between P and Q, whereas angle alpha is the angle made by resultant with the horizontal x-axis or force P here in this case. Okay. So therefore, alpha will be equal to tan inverse of Q sin theta divided by P plus Q cos of theta. So don't worry about this. This derivation, no one will ask you in the examination. Only the formulas will be asked, and that formulas will be asked in the numericals only, because you have to solve the numericals based on these formulas. Okay. So after that, the next one is the three cases. Three cases are there. That case one, if your theta is equal to 0, then your cos of 0 will be equal to 1, because in previous formula here you will put it cos of 0, which will be equal to this. Cos of 0 will be equal to 1. In this formula you will put it cos of 0 equal to 1, right? So therefore, R will be equal to P plus Q in this case 1. Now if P and Q both are at the 90 degree, then you will put it here cos of 90 equal to 0, cos of 90 equal to sine of 0, and sine of 0 equal to 0. So therefore, the 2 PQ cos theta term will be equal to 0, and therefore R will be equal to under root of P square plus Q square. Now the same case is case number 3, that if your angle is 180 degree. Now you know that cos of 180 equal to minus 1. On your calci also you will get this thing, right? So cos of 180 will be equal to minus 1. So therefore put this minus 1 here, P square plus minus 2 PQ okay. So now I hope that you remember all this